3 babies and no ring? That one sentence is all it took to light Twitter on fire. One bold user hit send, questioning Rihanna's decision to build a whole family with ASAP Rocky without a wedding in sight. Just like that, the internet split into 2 camps, Team Rihanna and Team Ring. The tweet didn't just raise eyebrows. It opened the floodgates to a deeper debate about love, money, marriage, and power, especially when it comes to celebrity relationships. And let's be honest, when Rihanna's name is involved, people pay attention. At first glance, it might seem like a typical nosy comment from someone watching from the sidelines. But when you dig deeper, there's a reason this blew up. Rihanna is a billionaire. Not just rich, not just successful, a billionaire. Fenty Beauty, Savage X Fenty, music, fashion, endorsements. She's done it all and built her empire piece by piece. ASAP Rocky. He's successful, no doubt. He's got a career, hits, modeling contracts, and influence in the fashion world. But in terms of net worth, fame, and long-term empire building, Rihanna is in a completely different league. So when someone asks, why have 3 kids with no ring? What they're really asking is, why take a risk when you have so much to lose? Fans quickly jumped in, with many defending Rihanna's decision. Their argument? She's smart. She knows what she's doing. In fact, not getting married might be the smartest move she could make. Because if she did marry ASAP Rocky and things went south, she'd be looking at a possible divorce settlement that could split everything she worked for. Even with a prenup, the court of public opinion, and sometimes the legal system, is unpredictable. Just ask Adele, Dr. Dre, or even Jeff Bezos. Divorce can get messy. By staying unmarried, Rihanna keeps full control of her brand, her wealth, and her business decisions. She doesn't have to worry about what happens if the love story turns into a legal battle. And for someone like her, who's already reached the mountaintop, protecting the empire isn't just smart, it's necessary. But not everyone sees it that way. Some people feel that love should come with commitment. They argue that if you're building a family, you should also be building a legal union. That marriage isn't just a piece of paper. It's a declaration of loyalty, security, and shared responsibility. They wonder, if ASAP Rocky is truly her partner, why hasn't he proposed? Why hasn't she insisted on it? Isn't marriage supposed to be the natural next step? Others push back with a completely different angle. They say Rihanna is flipping the script. For decades, women, especially rich and powerful ones, have been pressured to marry for respect, tradition, or image. Rihanna, however, is doing things on her own terms. She's saying, I don't need a ring to validate my relationship. She's rejecting the idea that motherhood or partnership has to look a certain way. And honestly, isn't that what she's always done? Remember when she told the world she wasn't in a rush to drop music because she was building a brand? People didn't understand. But then Fenty exploded, and she became the richest female musician on the planet, without releasing an album for years. Rihanna doesn't follow rules. She writes her own. And let's not forget who we're talking about. Rihanna is a woman who's survived public heartbreaks, media scrutiny, and industry politics. She's learned lessons the hard way. If she chooses to have kids without getting married, it's not because she's confused. It's because she's calculated. She knows the risks. She also knows that love doesn't always come with legal safety nets. And for someone in her position, that's a risk worth managing. It also says a lot about ASAP Rocky. There's a quiet strength in the fact that he's not publicly pushing for marriage, not demanding to define their love with paperwork. He seems to understand who he's dealing with. Rihanna isn't just his partner, she's a global force. He's part of her life, not her property. And if they've both agreed that marriage isn't necessary for their bond to thrive, who are we to say otherwise? But then comes the uncomfortable truth. Things change. Feelings fade. People grow apart. And when that happens, having legal protection matters. That's why so many people, especially women, still value marriage. Not for the ring or the wedding, but for the structure, for the safety net, for the power it gives in times of crisis. Now flip the script. Imagine if the roles were reversed. Imagine a billionaire man with a less wealthy female partner having 3 kids out of wedlock. The internet might call him selfish. He might be accused of avoiding commitment, of using his wealth to escape responsibility. But because Rihanna's a woman, some people call it empowering. Others call it reckless. That double standard is part of why this debate hits so hard. We also can't ignore the cultural angle. In many communities, especially in the Black community, marriage is still seen as a milestone of stability. It's a signal to the world that a family is united and protected. So when a cultural icon like Rihanna chooses to skip that step, people notice. They question it. They debate it. Because it challenges everything they've been taught about what love and family should look like. Still, times are changing. More couples are choosing to build families without getting married. More women are choosing to keep their assets separate. Prenups are becoming common. The idea that marriage is the only legitimate path is slowly fading. And in that new world, Rihanna isn't just part of the trend. She's leading it. At the heart of this whole situation is a simple truth. People want to see Rihanna protected. They want to believe that someone who's given the world so much, through her music, her style, her business, won't end up losing half of it over a breakup. That's why the tweet hit so hard. It wasn't just gossip. It was concern dressed as controversy. But Rihanna's never been one to follow the crowd. She does what feels right to her, and somehow it always works. She built a fashion line people doubted. She turned beauty into billions. She picked love on her own timeline. If that means 3 babies and no ring, maybe that's exactly how it's supposed to be. What matters most is whether she's happy, whether she feels secure, whether her relationship is built on real love, not legal contracts. Because at the end of the day, the public won't raise those kids. The internet won't build their home. That's on Rihanna and A$AP Rocky. If they've found a balance that works for them, maybe we're the ones who need to catch up. Still, the debate isn't going away. People will always have opinions about how billionaires handle their personal lives, especially when that billionaire is Rihanna. But maybe that's the point. Maybe her whole life is a challenge to the system, a reminder that you don't have to do things the traditional way to build something beautiful. Maybe her greatest legacy won't just be the music, the makeup, or the millions, but the message. You don't need a ring to be powerful, protected, or complete.